I can't tell you how many times when I've worked with folks on objection handling that in theory, they're like, okay, this sounds good. But when they actually put it into practice, they just end up not even attempting to overcome it because they have this fear of how the other person's going to perceive them. They have this fear of rejection. And I think regardless if it's a business situation or a personal situation, all of us fear rejection. I'm curious what your experience has been navigating it.
Yeah, I would completely agree. Early on in my career, I was in my 20s, and I will never forget this, but it definitely helped me grow. But I remember calling on a customer, a manager of a grocery store, and I think he was just having a bad day, but he was screaming at me at one point, and I was so timid to speak up for myself or even defend myself or the company I was working for, because honestly, we were not in the wrong. And I've always been taught that the customer is always right. So I ended up leaving and getting in my car and crying. I probably cried an hour and a half that day because of how much he actually scared me.
Yeah. And I mean, how you do if you were in that situation now?
How I have definitely, I have more thicker skin these days, and I would approach it completely different. One, I would not have walked away and got in my car and cried and let him speak to me that way, but I would honestly have stayed there and tried to continue to calm him down, but ask more questions to figure out what actually was the reason for his anger, and understood where his true anger was coming from, or his true objection that day was coming from, because it wasn't about me. Looking back, it wasn't about my company. So I think I should have just created more of a conversation versus running away, for lack of better terms.
Yeah, and I think the reaction back then was fine because how he treated you tells me way more about him than anything. But at the end of the day, like, you have to speak up even if your voice shakes and go from there.
Yeah.